Live streaming is. Good morning, everyone, on this Juneteenth Eve. I hope everyone is well today. Tomorrow is a holiday, and it just got voted into being, well, a state holiday, rather, a holiday here at ABC, and it just got approved by Congress to be a federal holiday. So, what I want to do and just take a moment, because we got a little bit of other stuff, is I just want to take a moment to talk about um, Juneteenth. So, let me get there real quick. And I hope everyone is well today. So, real quick, I want to share with you a couple little things so we can know about Juneteenth. Oh, really? You want to act like that? Oh, okay. Okay. So, Juneteenth really began in Texas, and this is something you can read on your own. I've attached the link, but Juneteenth began in Texas. Um, Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, January 1st, which is why some African Americans celebrate Watch Night, New Year's Eve. It has that significance. But the proclamation did not end slavery. In some of the southern states, the enslavers made too much money from free labor, so they refused to release people. They also moved further away, thinking that they could just get out of sight. So, 2 more years people worked for free. 2 more years people were subject to all of the indignities that came with being an enslaved person. And so, on June 19th or somewhere around there, a Union general arrived in Texas and he said, "These people are free." Now, everyone didn't get free then, but some did. They were offered to stay. Can you imagine being offered to stay? Some people did, because what were they leaving with other than what they had on their back? And for many, it wasn't much. It wasn't a complete set of clothing like you see on TV, but most left. They told him no, and they rolled. So that's where we get Juneteenth from. So 47 states and the District of Columbia celebrated it as a state holiday. Two states did not. I'm sorry, three: Hawaii, North Dakota, South Dakota. But now it has been passed in the Senate and the House. So as people began to migrate from the South, more people began to acknowledge this holiday. And I had never heard of this holiday until after I was long grown. Um, so, how do people celebrate Juneteenth? Here are some of the foods. And if you want to know why red is important, red symbolizes the blood of the people, the power. And red, if you notice in African American culture, is very important, particularly red drinks. Red Kool Aid has been a strong part of the culture. Now, where did that come from? Sorrel, hibiscus, which was brought from West Africa, was the drink of celebration. And now people, beets, color food, anything that was red, strawberries. And you look at some of the foods native to the culture: sweet potato, not yams, y'all, okra brought from Africa, black eyed peas brought from Africa, some kind of meat, the cornbread, all of those traditional foods are considered celebratory foods for um, Juneteenth. And finally, you have the flag, which resembled the flag of Texas. But these points on the star meant that people were free in every state. And then you have the red, white, and blue, which just said that, you know what? Black Americans are Americans, and we shed blood in this country. So that's what it is. So this is a holiday to honor real independence for all Americans. And enjoy the day tomorrow and be safe, as I always say, and be well. So now let's get to what we're really supposed to be functioning, looking at today. And these are all mini lessons. I promise you, everything is short. So guess what she put up here? Graphs. Because what they are are aids. Graphs, multimedia, mean when you see videos or slide programs, all of that is used to deepen our understanding. So here are different types of graphs that you may see, bar graphs, and we talked about in a prior lesson how the different types of graphs vary according to the lesson. Um, some are more helpful depending on the information that's being viewed. So today we're going to look at how that information is presented to you on the task exam. Let's take a look. We are going to look at a circle graph, and we're going to do this together. So, I think I'm on the wrong page. I think I'm backwards here. Ooh, I'm sorry. I think I've got this backwards. Uh, nope. Okay, so graph B shows two circle graphs used to compare the changes in civilian labor forces projected into the year of 2006. Because of the changes in work, education, and mobility, individuals are tending to move where the jobs are and where opportunity knocks. And for many individuals and their families, the United States offers opportunities that don't exist in other parts of the world. Again, this information is very old. It's from 2006, but it's basically to show us how to interpret graphs. So this is graph B. Remember, we always want to say, what is this graph telling us? It's the United States civilian labor force. And I also look at the source. That information is coming from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And so the labor force for as a part of the total population, as we see in our graph pie chart, Caucasians comprise 70, oh, I'm sorry, as of 1996, I told you wrong. Estimated total population 134 million. White Americans or Caucasians comprise 75% of the total labor force, people that were working. African Americans 11, Latinos or Hispanics 10, Asians 4%. What was projected 10 years later is that Caucasians would drop to 72%, African Americans would stay the same, Hispanic Americans would rise by 2%, and Asian Americans would increase by 1%. So, excuse me, the graph above shows the US what for 1996 and 2006. What is it showing us? Well, here's our title, which is always going to tell us what the graph is showing. So it is showing the United States labor force for 1996 and 2006. And then a more appropriate title, meaning this is okay title, but is there something that hones in a little more on what we're looking at? Would that be A, U.S. civilian and Army labor force, B, U.S. civilian labor force by ethnic origin, C, U.S. labor force by sex, race, and ethnicity, or D, percent changes in total labor force? Well, what they had noted with the way the pie is sliced are the ethnic groups and what percentage they make up of the total labor force, correct? This is what we're looking at on both graphs. So maybe the best title here is B. So civilian labor force by ethnic origin. And graph B shows that the African American labor force is projected to remain the same. Is this true or false? Well, let's look back. 1996, African American labor percentage was 11%, and estimated for 2006, African American percentage is 11%. So, yes, that answer is true. There are about twice as many Hispanics projected in the labor force in 2006 compared to 1996. About twice as many. Well, let's look. We had 2006, 12%, 1996, 10%. Is that twice as many? No, if it was twice as many, 10% would be 20%, right? Twice as many. So that answer is false. Okay. And from the graphs, you can infer information that is made. There's a case made for this information that more minorities are projected to enter the labor force. Well, let's see. Uh, well, there's a 2% increase in the Latino from 12 to 10, and there's a 1% increase in Asian. African Americans are the same. So, can we infer and look? The total as of Caucasians has decreased. The amount of ethnic minorities has increased slightly, right? So, can we say that more minorities are projected? Yes, that is true. And the majority of the civilian labor force consists of what group? Who is the biggest slice of the pie? It's pretty easy to see. Right there, bam, Caucasian. So look at how reading these graphs are straightforward. This is right. This is exactly how you will see this information on the task. The minority civilian labor force is projected to increase from 25% in 1996 to what percent in 2006? Okay, well, we got to add them up, right? What is 11 plus 12? That's 23 plus 5 is 28, correct? There's our answer A. I'm not going any further. This is simple math. From 1996 to 2006, which group is projected to have the greatest increase in civilian labor force? African Americans, Caucasians, Asians, or Hispanics? Who is going to have the biggest jump? African Americans stay the same, Caucasians decrease, Latinos go up 2% from 10 to 12, and Asians only go up 1%. So the group that has the biggest increase are going to be Hispanics. Okay? And then we've got that. Which diagram describes the percent of changes? How did I just lose the thing? How did I just lose that thing? Okay. The percent of changes. Let's take a look at this. African Americans, is that correct? Do they decrease? Nope. Latinos go up slightly by 2%. Yes. Asians are showing a decrease. We already said there's an increase. Hispanics, that looks like more than double. That's not correct. And Caucasians decrease. That's not correct. So which diagram best compares the percent of changes would be Hispanics. That looks like about a 2% increase, correct? So all these statements below can be concluded from graph B, except there is an increase in minorities across the U.S. labor force, The percent of minority workers is smaller in 1996 than in 2006. Yes. Caucasians comprise the largest percentage of the labor force. Yes. And more individuals are entering the US labor force than in the past. Yes. And then less than 25% of the US labor force in 2006 are minorities. Let's go back again. In 2006, that's 72%. So if we have 75%, and that's 25%, right? So this is 72%. That is going to be more than 25%. Because remember, they have to add up to what? 100%. So E is incorrect. That's all we have today in this. I will see you in just a few minutes for writing part 2.